And now to officially kick off this event, I'd like to welcome Luke Stelle, Cultural Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Santo Domingo.
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me, and thanks everyone for joining us today. On behalf of the United States Embassy in Santo Domingo, I'm very pleased to welcome you to our virtual education webinar series. It's a pleasure, of course, to be here with all of you to explore EdgeDiscovery, forging innovative pathways for research and discovery. Promoting access to high quality education is one of our key priorities at the U.S. Embassy here in Santo Domingo. And I am very happy that Dr. Forough Ghahramani, Associate Vice President at EDGE, is here today to share a presentation focused on exploring the role of research computing and data in scientific discovery and opportunities for facilitating collaborative research through data-driven high-performance networking infrastructure and access to dynamic network services that enable rapid movement of diverse scientific data sets. Thanks also, of course, to our Fulbright alumna and country representative, IPA Dominican Republic, Laura Rodriguez, who is serving as the moderator for today's discussion. I just want to say a special thank you again to Dr. Ghahramani for sharing your time and experience with us today. It means a lot that you're willing to actually devote a chunk of your time to be with us. And I'm excited to see the opportunities for collaboration that arise from this series of virtual webinars. We've seen from several of the webinar series so far that we've had great opportunities for shared knowledge exchange and for further development and opportunities. So I look forward to hearing about that. So thank you all again, and estamos unidos.
Thank you so much, Luke. I will take a couple of minutes to introduce myself, as I realized that I didn't do that at the beginning. My name is Laura Rodriguez. I am an ex-Fulbright scholar, and I am currently serving as country representative for Innovations for Poverty Action in the Dominican Republic. IPA is a research and policy nonprofit that discovers and promotes effective solutions to global poverty problems. We bring together researchers and decision makers to design, rigorously evaluate, and refine these solutions and their applications, ensuring that the evidence created is used to improve the lives of the world's poor. So clearly within this task that I do at IPA, it is a great honor to have Forough Ghahramani talk to us a little bit about the kind of research she does at EDGE. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about her background before I hand it all over to her. Dr. Forough Ghahramani is a transformational leader in technology, research, and innovation. Her diversified career experience includes higher education management and over 25 years of experience designing, building, and deploying advanced software technologies. She's passionate about shaping and growing world-class organizations and working with diverse interdisciplinary teams to solve hard problems with real-world applications. She has a proven ability to create and foster work cultures, driving workforce engagement and successful teams. She's Associate Vice President of Research, Innovation, and Sponsored Programs at EDGE Inc., serves as the Chief Advocate for Research and primary point of contact and engagement with the research community in New Jersey and beyond. Oops, sorry. Dr. Ghahramani has a doctorate in higher education and management from the University of Pennsylvania, and an MBA in marketing from DePaul University, an MS in computer science from Villanova University, and a BS in mathematics with a minor in biology from Pennsylvania State University. Without further ado, I hand it over to Dr. Ghahramani, and we're very excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and it's truly a pleasure to be here today. As was mentioned earlier, I have a diverse career path between industry and academia, including 20 years of experience in software engineering and high-performance computing environments. And I wanted to just provide some details about my experience in higher education, given that most of the audience is higher education and research. In addition to research, my experience includes curriculum and program development, teaching online and on-premise, and serving in academic administration positions as department chair and dean. In today's presentation, I will start by providing some information about EDGE, an overview of the EdgeDiscovery framework, which is a research framework, and regional and national platforms for research computing. And finally, I will end by inviting your participation in our EDGE's annual conference, which will be virtual this year in January of 2021. So EDGE is a nonprofit member-based organization that provides a variety of next generation broadband connectivity solutions and services to anchor institutions in New Jersey and the region. EDGE facilitates collaboration in advanced computing and research. In addition, EDGE provides the physical infrastructure that creates the connectivity to tools and resources to enable research and discovery. The membership of EDGE includes higher education, government, healthcare, K-12. Whoops. Sorry, I forgot to advance the slides, I noticed. EDGE is governed by the New Jersey State University presidents. EDGE offers network connectivity and trusted technology solutions to its member community and relies on extensive partnerships and relationships to meet the needs of the member institutions. We represent over 20 years of collaborating in research and education networking. We are one of 40 research and education networks nationwide. And EDGE in the last few years has really broadened its mission as a research and education network and made deliberate investments in increasing support for advancing research. EDGE connects the members, establishes standards for interoperability, fosters innovative solutions and the use of new and emerging technologies, and builds and supports a thriving community, leveraging its high-performance optical network. At the core, EDGE is a research and education network, and the core competency is making sure that the access to infrastructure is available for conducting meaningful education and meaningful research. Training and professional services are also available to help stakeholders use the technology. There's a full range of products, services, and communities of engagement that are offered through EDGE services. The products that EDGE provides include EdgeNet connectivity and network management, EDGE Secure for trust, identity, and security management, EDGE Cloud virtualization, storage, and cloud services, EDGE Learn for educational technology and collaboration, and EDGE Events for professional development and community building and conferences. So EDGE enables the interconnectivity within New Jersey and the region and beyond, both literally and mission-wise. So EDGE is connected to over 40 other research and education networks across the US, as well as specialty research centers and platforms. So this slide really demonstrates the interconnectivity that's provided across the US. In addition to connectivity to research and education networks, EDGE is the on-ramped connectivity to Internet 2, provides access to national research center resources and networks. For example, access to the Omnipop and the Energy Sciences Network. The Omnipop, you can see in the diagram, is a fiber optic network collaboration between participating Big Ten academic alliance institutions, connecting them to each other and to research hubs worldwide with very high-speed connectivity. The Energy Sciences Network, which is referred to as ESNet, is a high-performance, unclassified network built to support scientific research. It is funded by the U.S. Department of Energy's Office of Science and managed by the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory. ESNet provides services to more than 40 Department of Energy research sites. So new models are emerging for research and computing. This is enabled by new technology capabilities and high performance networking and connectivity in computing. The quantity of structured and unstructured data in a data science and analytics driven world. The ubiquitous role of research computing and data in scientific discovery and scholarship across all disciplines. And the trend, which is encouraged by funding agencies, is toward multi-institutional, multi-investigator, multidisciplinary projects requiring shared access to low latency, high bandwidth networks, data repositories, and advanced computing resources and specialized research tools. Also, the need for cybersecurity and especially federated access and complex identity management schemas. So EDGE has created the EdgeDiscovery framework to address the existing needs in the research and education community and provides the capability, capacity, and access for EDGE membership that individual institutions could not do on their own based on a consortium model. So bridging the technology gap between information technology and the research community, EdgeDiscovery includes 5 core competencies, and the infographic is what I'm really going to be going through, which includes connectivity, which is really at the core of what EDGE provides, computing, curriculum, comprehensive expertise, and community. So in the next few minutes, I'll be reviewing these core competencies. As I mentioned, in the last few years, EDGE has made investments for research, and specifically as it relates to high-speed connectivity. New Jersey is its own gigapop, and gigapop stands for Gigabit Point of Presence, which is a service that provides access to Internet 2. EDGE, through its infrastructure and relationship with Internet 2, and in partnership with premier research institutions, Princeton University and Rutgers University, provides interconnectivity in New Jersey without interfering with the enterprise network, which is the network that supports ongoing business of the institution. So there's dedicated network for research. In addition to providing connectivity in New Jersey, EDGE also has regional reach through the network point of presence at 2 sites in New Jersey, and then also presence in New York City and a presence in Philadelphia, and internet-enabled connectivity all the way down to Ashburn, Virginia. And later on, I'll provide some information about how this level of connectivity provides the opportunities for connecting internationally as well. And there's, with regard to computing resources, there's existing computing resources that are available both at the local level as well as regional and national level to researchers across New Jersey. And we're designing the capability through this framework to provide access to support research and learning. And very specifically, we're working with less resource. Of course, we're working with the large research institutions and making sure their needs are met, but also working with the less resourced institutions to see where there are some shared resources that they can have access to be able to connect to other researchers and to the resources that they need. So with the dedicated network segment, EdgeDiscovery allows access for use of these local resources and to participate in research projects across regional and national platforms without, again, interfering with the normal higher education business network traffic. EdgeDiscovery also supports education and learning by working with institutions to identify curriculum needs, very specifically for data-intensive data science programs, specifically regarding access to data sets, tools, and expertise for curriculum needs, both on-premise as well as through the cloud. And through training programs, we help practitioners to develop specific competencies in data analytics and visualization techniques. And there's a special focus on training programs for graduate students in preparing them for diverse career pathways, especially the PhD students who are really being prepared in their academic programs for academic positions, but many of them don't end up in academia. And so what we do is to complement what they're getting in the education at schools to provide the skills necessary to be able to be competitive for positions within academia as well as outside of academia. There are training programs on enabling science and supporting research through webinars, workshops, virtual trainings, and pilots. For example, Personar and the Network Performance Management workshops. Also training on and resources that are available at the regional and national level, such as Globus, ESNet, XSEDE, and the Open Science Grid. And we also provide expertise to assist in designing cyber infrastructure plans and facilitate joint opportunities and collaborations for grants. The capability is promoted broadly, as I mentioned earlier, to really help all institutions, and especially those that are less resourced, to have the capability to participate competitively in funding opportunities. So we are committed to invest in our time to understand the needs of the researchers and the educators, and through in-depth immersion to understand the campus's computing resources, environments, and their unique needs. And IT and compute resources are not one size fits all. We understand that. And so we work with our member institutions to help to identify what their specific needs are and connect them to the resources that are available at the local level as well as nationally and through the cloud. And we hope to address the growing interest and need for analytics and computational skills and for data science programs from the community colleges, which are two-year institutions, all the way through our large research institutions, the R1 institutions. We want to be there to provide the necessary support and expertise to help with developing programs to deliver a competent workforce with skills necessary for the future and beyond, contributing to the economy and at the national and international levels. And really, from a people's perspective, our goal is to connect the community members and organizations to leverage one another and to explore and advance the ever-changing ecosystem of research cyber infrastructures, and very importantly, to identify the gaps that are not well served in the current ecosystem. We really encourage you to connect with us through our events, our seminars, our workshops, ongoing communications, through our online collaborations platform, which is the Edge Exchange Community.
Es la comunidad de intercambio de Edge. Hemos establecido diversas comunidades por medio de
Community from CIOs, a community for cybersecurity, one for research, one for esports. We've got a whole range of communities that we have set up. Edge is an integral part of supporting research activities specifically related to campus cyber infrastructure, data networking, cybersecurity, and network measurement and monitoring. And in the next few minutes, I would like to share some specific examples of how we are supporting and enabling science and discovery. So our involvement with the National Science Foundation funded project, the DIBBS Virtual Data Collaboratory project, which is a federated data sharing cyber infrastructure for data intensive, interdisciplinary and collaborative research. The Eastern Regional Network it was formed really to simply simplify multi-campus collaborations and partnerships in the Northeast. But it has expanded way beyond the Northeast at this point. In order to advance the frontiers of research, pedagogy, and innovation. It's referred to as the ERN, is first and foremost a network of people interested in pursuing this goal and who use and manage the campus and regional research, computing, data storage, network resources that make it happen. A huge focus of the ERN is how do we connect the less resourced institutions with those institutions and centers that have a lot of resources and share the resources more broadly. Fabric is a nationwide project, multidisciplinary, multi-institutional. It's a nationwide programmable network that will enable the creation of a new, secure, flexible internet. It's a redesign of the research network infrastructure for the future. And it runs over the energy sciences optical backbone and interconnects supercomputer facilities, cloud test beds, NSF wireless test beds, commercial clouds, the real internet, and powerful AI-enabled edge nodes at universities and labs. Cosmos stands for Cloud Enhanced Open Software Defined Mobile Wireless Testbed for City Scale Deployment. It's a collaboration between Rutgers University, NYU, Columbia, and the City University of New York. And it's really, in simple terms, it's a test bed for next-gen Wi-Fi in urban areas. The National Research Platform, it's a platform that's available to researchers across the US. And it's a cluster of high performance research environment. Edge has deployed a node on this platform. So again, the Virtual Data Collaboratory, a little bit more about it. It's multi-institutional, multidisciplinary. The anchor institutions are Rutgers University and Penn State, and the regional education, research and education networks in New Jersey is Edge, and then in Pennsylvania is Kimber, and we're providing that high-speed connectivity. A lot of information is available on the datacollaboratory.org site. And the core is really connecting researchers and high-performance computing environments with providing transparent data sharing. Use cases that are used are the Ocean Observatory Initiative data, which is Ocean Observatory Initiative is another National Science Foundation project. There are over 900 sensors across the world's ocean floor, and so data is being collected across the world, and all of the data is coming into the systems at the OOI, and researchers across the world are accessing that to do research in various disciplinary areas. Also, the Protein Data Bank is another use case for the Virtual Data Collaboratory, and that's the largest repository of protein data that is available at Rutgers University. And I encourage everyone to really go to these sites, both the Data Collaboratory site as well as the Ocean Observatory Initiative and the Protein Data Bank sites, because there's tremendous amount of educational material that's available there, all the way from the high school through early career researchers. I have been the co-lead of the Virtual Data Collaboratory project's education and outreach area, and we've developed programming for, as it relates to data science and big data and data management from the high school level all the way through early career researchers. And it's just, there's a lot of resources that are available on these sites, and this is training the next generation of scientists, interdisciplinary research based on shared data set and cyber infrastructures is a big goal of this project. And then this is just really a diagram just to show the breadth of institutions that are involved, and the collaboration is really just amazing in bringing not only the researchers but also the research computing individuals together to determine the future of how we can share data and how we can share high performance computing resources. And the research and education networks, again, are at the core because they're helping to make that connectivity across the region. And then this is Fabric. The best way to describe a little bit more information about Fabric, it connects diverse types of facilities, including test beds and high performance computing resources. It's a nationwide project. And the best way to explain it is it's a test bed of test beds. So it's really, and so with regard to how EDGE is involved in this project is we have major projects that are going on at Princeton University and at Rutgers, and they are part of the Fabric project. So we're helping make that connectivity within the state, and then helping to make that connectivity from within the state to the region and the nation. And more information about Fabric is available on this website. So EDGE also has a node on the National Research Platform and continues to seek and share opportunities for regional awareness and training on the National Research Platform infrastructure. It's a cluster, as I mentioned, that's managed by the Pacific Research Platform, and it's a test bed for exploring ideas. And an example of how it's being used is for testing before running an application in the cloud. The grid on the right of this slide is really the persona dashboard, which I mentioned earlier, for the National Research Platform, and it's a network measurement toolkit designed to provide federated coverage of paths and help establish end-to-end performance expectations and serve as an ad hoc troubleshooting tool. It provides information about who is able to talk to who and at what speeds. So we talked about, EDGE's points of presence. This is a high-level diagram of the EDGE network backbone that includes at the center the point of presence in Newark, New Jersey, and the presence in Wall Township in New Jersey, also in New York City, Avenue of the Americas, and then Philadelphia, North Broad Street. That enables testbed and proof of concept collaborations, such as through the Eastern Regional Network, as well as the National Research Platform. So there are multiple paths across the Atlantic to Europe and Europe's JANT network through connectivity to the subsea cables that come to Wall Township in New Jersey and through the transit exchange in avenues of the Americas. Also, the Wall Township site can serve as a landing point to South America. So EDGE has the capability to provide connectivity across the country and around the world. And in this presentation, I wanted to present the existing foundation and capability to support research. Through EdgeDiscovery, we're positioned to partner with the research community and participate in research efforts to do much more. I just wanted to provide just some information about XSEDE, which is, stands for the Extreme Science and Engineering Discovery Environment. This is one of the resources that's available at the national level. And it's the most advanced, powerful, and robust collection of integrated advanced digital resources and services in the world. It is a single virtual system that scientists can use to interactively share computing resources, data, and expertise. It's a 5-year, over $120 million national science project, the foundation project, and it supports over 8,000 global researchers that are engaged in compute-intensive team science disciplines such as energy genomics, climatology, physics, XSEDE, and it provides high-speed networking infrastructure capable of transporting massive data sets and delivering innovative applications and cloud services. The network consists of 9 individual sites supporting 17 supercomputers, as well as big data and analysis and visualization capabilities. And if you go to these 2 sites that are listed at the bottom, there are tremendous amounts.
So, hay gran cantidad de educación y alcance y capacitación que están disponibles y extremadamente útiles. En este momento recibiré preguntas con beneplácito sobre cualquiera de estos proyectos. Así que el call to action, el llamado a acción, como me había dicho, para el grupo Siéntese en la Libertad. O sea, queremos que participen.
Which is scheduled for January 6th to the 8th of 2021. It's a virtual conference, and we have nationally recognized speakers, research presentations. We have a research track, educational workshops, as well as some time for networking using really cool conferencing capability. And we have a call for proposals. You're welcome to submit a proposal, and the information is there, and it's very simple, a maximum of 200 words. And this particular slide is really more focused on research. But we have many, many other tracks, and EDGE has, as I mentioned, we're involved with esports all the way through high performance computing research. So at this point, I would like to open it up for questions. Oh, I'll stop sharing my screen, sorry.
Hi, thank you. My Zoom is troubleshooting, it looks like, so I couldn't get to the unmute button. Thank you so much, Dr. Ghahramani. That was very, very interesting. I do think we have a couple of questions, and I would like also to remind everyone that if you have questions, to please submit those via the chat, and we'll be sort of pulling those from there. I'd like to begin with the first question. Thinking about the importance of access to technology at all levels of education, how do access and connectivity needs vary at different educational levels? For example, undergraduate versus graduate, maybe even high school versus secondary education.
Sure, thank you. So education is foundationally network and technology dependent now. And the way it gets consumed is different at different levels. The digitization that has brought us to the digital era's manifestation in the rapid emergence of data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things, the size, the complexity, and rate of data capture have grown explosively. Drivers of this growth include experiments, observational studies, scientific instruments, simulations, and a tidal wave of unstructured data in the form of emails, videos, images, internet transactions, and scientific collaboration at this level requires a network infrastructure that can quickly and transparently move large data sets between locations, as well as provide access to the analysis and visualization tools that are needed to work with massive amounts of data. Therefore, for graduate students, the level of requirement for collaboration and access to data for research purpose is high. And this is where organizations like EDGE are helping by bridging the technology gap between information technology and the research community at its member institutions. So in addition to the research enabling technologies, there are partnerships in place to provide access to advanced curriculum needs, access to technology and tools to advance curriculum needs. So there's a commitment to understanding the curriculum needs and academic programming strategies at all levels, ranging from video conferencing capability to content delivery to creation of instructional strategies, both synchronous as well as asynchronous, using the network. The workforce development needs are really important to understand to provide the support for the learning mission of our K-12 communities and the undergraduate institutions through content as well as access to technology. And the cloud plays a huge role. So understanding the cloud service providers, what they provide, each of them, and how they complement one another is very important.
Thank you very much. I have another one that I think it's quite relevant given the times we're currently living. Based on what you've learned from working with your organizations, what can schools and universities do to address the challenges posed by virtual learning and a newfound dependency on technology? And how might these actions translate to other locations in the United States or internationally?
Sure. So as K-12 and higher education worldwide has been affected due to the COVID-19 pandemic, thousands of school closures followed in a very limited span of time to enforce social distancing measures. Educational institutions have been presented with surmounting challenges in its system of planning, implementation, and assessment. On a light note, however, the global pandemic opened up opportunities to the state, the nation, and the world to upgrade its educational mode of delivery and transfer its attention to emerging technologies. K-12 and higher ed institutions need to seize the opportunity to strengthen the evidence-based practices, provide accessible mental health related services, make the curriculum responsive to the needs of the changing times, and some high impact principles for online education are important to follow. And I have a list of 5 of them that I'd like to share. The relevance between online instruction and student learning. The effective delivery on online instructional information, providing adequate support by faculty and teaching assistants to the students, high quality participation to improve the breadth and depth of students' learning, and last but not least, a contingency plan to deal with the unexpected incidents of online education platforms. And this is really something that we came across in the spring, as far as, you know, it was unexpected that we had to go online all of a sudden. When K-12 and higher ed pivoted online this spring, the experience was difficult for students without reliable internet and technology. Dedicated places to study the tools for professional and peer advising and other resources that a campus provides. So now, as we're planning for the fall, as colleges prepare for remote instruction and others expect at least some additional online teaching, ensuring equity remains a major challenge. The challenges are both logistical as well as pedagogical. So these are things that we need to really think about and identify opportunities to address them. Are there enough large classrooms on campus to spread students out? Will instructors teach more, but smaller sections of the same course well into the evening or on the weekends? How will they navigate hybrid classes and the student collaboration? Who cleans the classroom equipment they will be using? Can people talk at length comfortably wearing masks? So how does that affect the professor's or a teacher's ability to teach and the student's capacity to learn? There's a lot that we have to learn. The education and university systems have a long way to go to use the tools pedagogically. Now, we now have the advantage based on the recent experiences of understanding the importance of raising awareness and the capability of these in leadership positions to master the tools, the technologies, and the methodologies that are available. People, the students and the educators, adapted very quickly to the transition to remote learning. Network-based connectivity was at the fundamental level, access to technology and the network. For those who had access, consistent level of access and performance were major issues. So it was clear that expertise that was required to address learning and student engagement was important, and experience in instructional technology was lacking. We at EDGE are excited that one of the main points of the network backbone is redundant connectivity for access to local, regional, national, and internationally. And there are many, many policy efforts that are in place to bridge that digital divide and provide equal access and inclusion. For example, there's a great deal of focus in the US for broadband connectivity to reach everybody. It's, however, important to understand the economic challenges for students, those who can't afford commercial connectivity. When things shut down, people with no commercial access were at a grave disadvantage. So there are solutions that are being provided by the not-for-profit, such as the research and education community, Internet 2, and to make sure that there's access to broadband that doesn't require commercial connectivity. For example, in public libraries, in train stations, buses, museums, airports, and we're a part of the communities that are promoting this level of connectivity. So it's really, there's opportunity, there's a lot of challenges, but there's a lot of opportunity as well to address the challenges.
Yeah, that's yeah, it'll be interesting to see how instruction and virtual learning evolves from what we're currently experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
So from the audience, Victor asks, is your network part of a telecommunications provider, or is it a joint venture with major telco companies in the US?
We work with Internet 2 is who we work with primarily.
Okay, and then Marcellus asks, can your platform facilitate any kind of research? Or I guess I would add there, does it need to be science driven or STEM in particular?
Yeah, that's a really, really great question. A lot of focus has been on STEM related disciplines. However, it's big data, and big data is important to all disciplines. And so there has been, so we work with all different disciplines, the humanities, the social sciences, as well as all of the STEM disciplines.
Awesome.
And one of the big areas of focus for us is really enabling collaboration.
Right.
We have various ways that we're doing that. There's the New Jersey Big Data Alliance, where we're working with institutions across the state, industry, as well as academia, to identify collaboration opportunities for research in all different areas.
Fantastic. And talking a little bit about joint research and collaboration, what would you say are one or two best practices between higher education institutions that have used EDGE to connect joint research or data computing?
Yeah, so one of the areas where we are taking a leadership role is serving as a gateway. For federated sharing of resources. So what happens is, you know, there's an institution that has, or a center, a research center that has the resource, and enabling that access and providing the authentication and authorization becomes a administrative hassle. And so what EDGE aims to do is to really take that admin hassle away and provide that level of secure access.
And I guess, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the other really a best practice is we have insight into the less resourced institutions, and we have insights into those who are doing advanced research. And so a best practice is how we're connecting the resources together, researchers together, enabling researchers at less resourced institutions to really be able to work at a higher level, working with other researchers that may have access to resources.
Yeah, and sort of building up a little bit on that, do you have any recommendations in particular about how to sort of create these effective and sustainable partnerships, you know, focus on research development and data science, but in particular for the Dominican Republic? Yeah,
definitely. I think it all boils down to communities, people working together, and what, you know, we talk about, I talked about XSEDE, I talked about Fabric, I talked about the Eastern Regional Network. A lot of it's people coming together, communities coming together and sharing information on what they want to do, and then from there, collaborations are much more organic. They become organic. So I mentioned the New Jersey Big Data Alliance or the Eastern Regional Network. So we're all working together as a groups from all over the Northeast US with different areas of expertise, from research and education networks, higher ed institutions, and within them we have research computing, we have computer science, we've got people from different disciplines. And so we've been just talking about what are the big data challenges, what are the cyber infrastructure challenges that we're coming across. And through that, we've formed working groups. So one working group is really focused on federations. What are the issues? What are the challenges? What are the opportunities for federating, authentication, and authorization? And then another working group has to do with broadening the reach and diversity and inclusion. And within that particular group, which is an area of my passion for me, is diversity of the workforce and making sure that we have a workforce for the future. So, you know, the people that are managing these advanced cyber infrastructures and these large research facilities, they don't necessarily have to be PhD computer scientists. So we're working with the community colleges to develop that expertise. So the whole basically workforce development and the skills that are required. And it's all coming from people coming together with similar challenges and opportunities and sharing. You know, I guess another great practice is sharing. When you share information, then you build trust, and then collaboration comes about. And so what we're finding is, through these groups, we're going for joint funding with each other, is that we've gotten to know who are the players. Just yesterday, I contacted a few of my colleagues about a particular funding opportunity, and we decided we're going to go for it together. And it's because we've actually been able to connect at different levels through these communities. So I think that's probably the best, is to create the community. And we're very happy to work with the constituents in the Dominican Republic and help to facilitate the community building and share the best practices.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that resonates a lot with me in particular. I am currently a PhD candidate who veered away from academia. I mean, I'm still in a research institution, but I think sometimes it's there's a lot still to be done when it comes to communicating and building these communities for young doctoral students to understand that there is a whole lot of research and good research that takes place outside of academia, and also for potential policymakers and other actors to know that the research are research, and it's not inaccessible, and it's a tool that can be used to promote a host of things, you know, in the private sector, in the public sector. I think it just that explanation really resonated with me. So thank you very much for that. And I think it's interesting to know that there is both ways, right? That there is the training that's available to people that may not want to pursue a PhD to do high quality research, but also for those that decide to go that way, that academia is not the only place where you can do high quality research that's meaningful.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think we're sort of almost towards the end of our hour, but we do have a last question that I think is also pretty relevant given the times. During the COVID-19 pandemic, access to data computing is even more critical for both higher education institutions, public health organizations, and governments. How do you think that the Dominican higher education institutions or faculty that are interested in connecting with EDGE to develop these sorts of partnerships, to develop programs, how can that happen or be facilitated in any way?
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of it is, there's already a lot that's happening, is that making that connection, the connectivity between advanced research computing is enabling for researchers across the country to have access to high performance networks and data sets to be able to do the research that they are working on for COVID related research. And so that's already in place. We are happy to connect researchers with each other who are working on synergistic research related to COVID-19. And then the other is raising awareness of research that's going on as it relates to COVID-19. And we have on our homepage, we have all of the different initiatives that we're involved in, EDGE is involved in as it relates to COVID-19. There's a lot of different service support, but most of what we've done is raised awareness to what's available. So one example is, I mentioned the community for research and education that we've created. And so one of the first things we did was posted what's available online resources for education, for curriculum. So if you're a faculty member and you're teaching computer science and you want to be able to have some material that's already available, so there's tremendous amount of information that's there available to faculty and researchers across the U.S.
And just to add quickly to that, for any faculty that's now connected and interested, is there any contact information or website that we could point them to for them to connect directly with EdgeDiscovery and yourself? Yeah,
sure. Probably the easiest and best, and it comes directly to me. So if you just send research@njedge.net, then they'll be able to get the information. And then going to njedge.net website, you can get information about all of EDGE. But if you have specific information that you're seeking about as it relates to EDGE's involvement with research, please feel free and just send me an email at research@njedge.net.
Awesome.
That'll be the easiest.
Great. Well, I hope everybody got that.
And of course, you can send an email to my email, which is Forough.Ghahramani@njedge.net. I'm afraid you won't remember how to spell my name.
Fantastic. I think we have it in the chat for everyone who's interested for that research email, so everybody can see it and grab it, and that would be the place to send any inquiries. And I think a lot of you are motivated to do so. I know I certainly will from IPA, see what kinds of collaborations we could work on together for projects in the Dominican Republic. I think we're at the closing time now, so I'll take a brief moment to thank everybody who was able to join us. Obviously thank Dr. Forough Ghahramani for a very interesting presentation and all the, giving us all this information about the resources that are out there and available. I think it's very important, very useful. Also to Luke Stel for being here with us today, and everybody at the embassy for the invitation and for this space to bring researchers and faculty together. I think it's very useful, and thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.